Ruffen It Up is extremely happy to announce our new partnership with PSL City Tickets. You could follow them on all social media platforms at PSL City Tickets. And stay tuned as we will have tickets to give away for sporting events, including tailgating. Visit pslcity.net to get the best tickets in your city today.
Now, it's the hottest podcast in the world. From WWE to TNA by way of the NWA. It's referee Brian Hebner, legendary WWE referee and Mr. Refin Rant himself, Jimmy Corderas, and OVW and TNA senior official Daniel Spencer. It's time for Ruffen It Up.
Welcome back to Ruffen It Up. I am RJ, Jimmy, Daniel, Brian. How we doing, guys?
As of this recording, I'll tell you after game 3 of the ALCS.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Getting
that
shellacked.
that escalated quickly, Jimmy.
Well, my team forced the game 5, but didn't quite finish the job. So
That's the Cubbies, right?
yeah, it's the Cubbies. Yeah,
The Cubbies. And Daniel, you're back.
I am back.
Can't wait
Inside,
to dig in.
indoors.
Yeah, he's sitting down and not in a truck. And anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to catch up with you about some BFG here in a little bit. So
Yeah,
can't wait to talk to you.
absolutely.
Yeah, you know
Sure.
me. BFG.
What?
You down with BFG?
Womp, 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 womp. Well, without there's no easy way for that, but we'll do it anyways. Why don't we send it up to our first count right here on Ruffing It Up?
This is your one count.
We had a busy weekend in professional wrestling this past weekend, gentlemen. Crown Jewel was on
Doesn't
Saturday.
it seem like we do every weekend at this point anymore?
At this point, tell me a weekend that we don't, or a day that we don't.
Now,
Because
here's the question. Is anything going on this weekend?
Yes.
What?
AEW
Something.
Wrestle Dream.
No, is anything
Oh.
going on this weekend? Oh, you said it. Okay, my bad.
Wrestle Dream, and then I think we got
Is it
Halloween
Saturday or
Havoc.
Sunday? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. I
Probably
believe.
Saturday. Probably
Saturday.
Saturday. And
So
then the
they're-
following
Go ahead.
Hmm?
Sorry.
and the following weekend, NXT has a pay-per-view, Halloween Havoc on Saturday the 25th.
So AEW has a
So-
standalone pay-per-view by themselves.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Um, Unless somebody comes up with one, I don't know.
Last minute. Sure.
Yeah, right. No kidding. But no, we had Crown Jewel Saturday. We had Bound for Glory on Sunday night. But first, Brian, man, I always go to Jimmy first. I'm going to go to Brian first this week. On the pre-show, AJ Styles, a guy that you worked with many times, know very, very well, announced that 2026 will be his last year in wrestling. There's been a lot of rumor and innuendo, if you will, about this. One, there's two parts to this. One, do you think that it is actually true? And two, if it is, wow, what a guy, what a career, man.
All right. So to answer part one, I believe 100% it's true. I've had conversations with him previously, and I don't mean this year. Actually, last year. I 100%. He is ready to enjoy his money, enjoy his family, and he wants to do it healthy and wants to do, or somewhat healthy, and he wants to do it and be there for his kids and there for his wife. And like I said, enjoy. He's got a ginormous house, lots of land, lots of toys. Yes, I believe 26 will be his final year. 100% believe that. What was the second part? Forgot. Go ahead.
Just no, it was just a matter of just knowing him so well from working with him in TNA there. And obviously afterwards too, obviously after you retired and he went out to New Japan and then eventually obviously WWE. Um, just I'll go ahead and say it. Sure, a Hall of Famer in the waiting. Just he transformed TNA, he transformed the wrestling business. Because at that time, Brian, especially in TNA, it was the big man's game.
I think that he was one of the ones in the current day that changed that the body, the big guy didn't matter anymore. I really do. I think maybe it always originated back in the 80s, really, when you got the what was the one they talked about the other day? I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about it, but anyway, can't remember who it was, but anyway, I believe it was Bret Hart. Bret Hart broke the mold for the size kind of thing. That kind of went away, went back to the big man thing with Vince and the big Fed, and then you got AJ that kind of brought it back. You know what I mean? Brought it back to where, because at that time, big men were the push to the moon.
It wasn't just Brett; it was Sean as well. You know, Brett.
Yeah, it was Brett first because they put that title on him in a house show. If you remember, is that right?
In Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Yes, yes, for no apparent reason. You know what I mean? And that's when that started with well, gosh, he's not that big guy. That's when he had like Typhoon, Hercules. The list goes on and on and on. But anyway, so yes, I think AJ cemented that in that you don't have to be a gigantic man with huge muscles and 6'7" and all that kind of stuff. But you're right, RJ. He transformed the way that everyone thought about guys his size.
Yeah. Now, Daniel, obviously working with him there, when he came in for that Slammiversary there. Now, did you have any previous work or working relationship with him, whether that was there in TNA or if you happened to work with him up in WWE and visits and whatnot?
Anytime I've been an extra, I never had a chance to do anything with him. I obviously met him many times, and he's been super, super nice and great. I was a guest at Raw a few months back, and he was sharing different things and talking, and then kind of knew who I was because as he was talking, he didn't even realize it was me until he was telling the story, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was you. It was awesome." And then of course, he was very friendly, like always, in Slammiversary. But I haven't actually got to work with him at all in any aspect. Now that could, 2026, it might be different. Who knows? But everybody that we're all in our circle of friends and everything has nothing but great things to say about him. I know, Jimmy or Brian has worked with him, many times. So I'm sure he can allude to the same way. He's one of the best. He's definitely a, no pun intended, good brother, and somebody you want on your side, and be the face of your company for sure. And so yeah, so I'm 2026 is going to suck if this is the final year, but I totally get it. But I don't think he's ever going to, just like Cena, he's never officially going to leave wrestling. He'll always do something, be involved. It wouldn't shock me if AJ doesn't like agent produce and stuff down the road. Maybe not right away, take some time off, but then eventually do that because I think would be phenomenal at it. No pun intended.
Yeah,
that was pun intended, Daniel. You're too smooth.
but Jimmy, we're seeing this. We'll call it the Cena farewell tour for basically the last X amount of appearances. Personally, I think that's something that AJ has earned throughout his career, New Japan, TNA, WWE. Do you think that's something that we're going to see the company do for him?
I think they're going to take care of him. I don't know if they're probably not going to have the same kind of fanfare that they're giving John Cena.
Oh no, definitely not.
John Cena was a homegrown guy. You know what
Right.
I mean? Where AJ Styles made his initial name in TNA, Impact Wrestling, before coming to WWE, and everybody got to experience it there and say, "Why wasn't this guy here before?" You know what I mean? That's the kind of guy he was. So he will. I think he will get given the proper send off if this is indeed his final farewell in 2026. And You guys just made me jealous.
About?
You guys both got to work with this guy. I never
Oh,
got the chance to work with AJ Styles. He's one of the two guys that I regret not having an opportunity to work with. One is AJ Styles, the other Sting.
well, I'll tell you this. You want to hear a comparison to AJ and Sting,
Sure.
which made these guys to me just true legends, and not only that, but true people. Their religion was took very serious by both of these guys, very serious. So that was really cool about both of them. They didn't push it on people. They just kind of just that was their thing, man. And you know about it when you were close to these two guys.
Right.
But yes, AJ was as Daniel would say, no pun intended, phenomenal. He was very phenomenal, and I treasure every moment I got to work with him in the ring. It was fun, it was serious, and it was business. But yes, it was awesome.
Obviously, we just mentioned he made the announcement on the pre-show for Crown Jewel, but the initial thoughts, Jimmy, about Crown Jewel, we saw a lot of. It was a good show for the most part.
Well, I agree. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was fun. You mentioned AJ Styles, him and John Cena. I know there's a lot of uh, critique online about the number of finishes they did and kicking out of finishes. And normally I'm that guy too who says, you know what, let's protect some finishes and stop kicking out of so many of them. But this match was more of a tribute. It was more of an homage to the people they had the pleasure of working with. They were paying tribute to them. And what this match was what wrestling is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun to watch. It's supposed to be you shutting off the entire world for that 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, however, 3 hours you're watching wrestling and being able to just enjoy what you're seeing. And that's what that was. And that's what those two guys gave us.
So let
And
me
if
ask you this,
you're
And I
Jimmy.
do.
back, and yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Go, Daniel. You go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and one other thing I was gonna mention is that it was not paying tribute to he was not paying tribute to Shawn Michaels with the super kick. He was paying tribute to James Storm because he did all the TNA people, and then his opponents, and John
Right.
Cena did that. So even though you got to watch, you got to know James Storm to understand and know the history of the why he did that. People wanted to say it was Shawn, and as much as there was no reason to pay tribute to Shawn and from AJ's standpoint because he never worked with him. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, here's what I was going to say. So we have John finishing up this year, Cena, that is,
Mhm.
and we have supposedly AJ finishing up next year. So to all the haters that are online, do you think they give a fuck what you think? Because they don't give a fuck. They went out there to have fun. They're having fun now. They're putting fun matches together. They're building memories that you'll remember. They're not worried about your little apartment that you're living in your mom's basement and you're just, talking through your keyboard. Fuck your keyboard and fuck your comments. That shit was great. If you didn't like it, then enjoy the rest of the pay-per-view. That's the problem with the IWC. Everybody's just so into their feelings and all that. Fuck your feelings, but whatever. I thought it was great. And I don't think John and AJ give two shits what everybody thinks.
They
And if they
shouldn't.
did, why should they? Why they're past the 5-star matches now at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
come on.
And
Well,
don't get
well,
me
we
started.
went.
Why'd you have to bring up 5 stars, Brian? Why'd you have to bring
Well,
that up?
because that's how everything's rated, right?
No, it's by one
Oh,
guy. Only one guy.
bullshit. Grinds
Yeah, the
One
guy
guy.
that doesn't know
You know what
shit and he's
grinds
wrong
my
half the time.
gears? You know what grinds my gears? Guys who have never even taken a freaking bump talking about 5 stars. Anyways, continue.
And for all those poignant comments and all that good stuff, you can hit him up online with his reference each and every Monday through Friday at Jimmy Corderas, of course.
Or me if you dare.
Well, yeah, but we went so many weeks, Brian, without you dropping an F-bomb, and you just dropped like 6 of them in a
Well, dude,
freaking
I can't help it. When you're talking about two,
I know,
when,
I know.
when you talk about two of the favorite people in my life that I've worked with, and you're going to sit there and bash what they tried to put together, they don't need the 5-star matches. They're
Yeah.
done with those. They prove who they are, and they're both at the end of their career. Do you think they care?
But see,
No.
that's the debate, which we can do another day. I'm not going to do it here. But what constitutes a 5 star match? Anyways,
I don't know.
these people
Personal opinion.
they're so far up their own asses. They need to tie rope to their feet so somebody can drag them out.
Right.
Well,
I don't know.
No follow up for that one. I'm sorry.
no, I got nothing, but I'm going to move on to Bound for Glory Sunday night, gentlemen. Another record for TNA, which is phenomenal to see. 7,794 fans there in Lowell, Massachusetts. Wow. It was just top to bottom, great card. A lot of great moments, guys. Brian, man, what was something that you really took away from this show, Bound for Glory?
Hardy's, Dudley's, hands down. I thought it was well done. If you didn't finish watching that match with some sort of motions of sadness, maybe happy. I don't know why you'd be happy, but just at the end of the career of the Dudleys, or together anyway. Bubba may have something left in the tank, but we certainly know that Devon is pretty much finished up, and the Dudleys will not be anymore after this one. The Hardys, of course, the Hardys are Hardys. There's a Hardy Pop, and that's why they call it the Hardy Pop. I just thought that was phenomenal. I really did. I thought the whole show was phenomenal. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was actually sitting here looking at our show notes and trying to think if there was any one match that I really didn't like. I would say it's Daniel's reffing that was coming off my sheet more than anything. Oh, well, hey, Daniel. Sorry.
We're
Whatever.
so used to him not being here, being in the truck, and his internet's going in and out.
Sure.
But no, I really did. I really thought that this was a solid show from top to bottom. But what stuck out to me was your question, was definitely the Hardys and the Dudley match, which I thought was done very, very well. The last final spot where Bubba basically said, put me through the damn table. I'm over. And then they gave him the boots, the 3D boots. Just good stuff. And Santana handing his daughter the belt was really emotional for people that have kids. You know what that means to them and to you to be able to do that. So I don't know what they were trying to do, Daniel. Were they trying to make us cry and shit? I mean, what was going on? Emotional show, man.
I mean, it was a very good show. And I'm not just
heartfelt.
Yeah, heartfelt.
You can tell real.
And I know, obviously I'm biased because I was part of it and I work for the company. But, no, it was a very, very great show, top to bottom. Had a big feel about it. Even what's crazy, so does Slammiversary, but it had a different. It's so weird. It's like it had a different feel than Slammiversary did, and it almost had this. This is going to sound crazy. Slammiversary was like, wow, look at what we've done. Look at what we've accomplished. We're on this next level now. Bound for Glory was like, yeah, we're here. Like we've been here. We're just showing you how good we still are. It wasn't that like it's hard to. It's a different different way of thinking, but it was still amazing. And the fact that we were able to beat the North American attendance record again, a couple months later without an AJ Styles. Now, yes, we had the Hardys and Dudleys, but without an AJ Styles was pretty impressive too. Because remember,
I feel like Daniel.
Yeah, go ahead.
The way you're saying it though kind of feels like this to me. It wasn't we hit the pause button, we did it. It was a continuation. So in other words,
yeah,
you in your company decided, you know what, this is not the best we can be, even though this is awesome, but we're going to continue this momentum, and we're going to continue going to another level.
And that's what I get at. It was like it was a big, obviously big show feel all around, but Slammiversary had a different atmosphere, different feel about it. But it was like we've been there before, so it was just we're just maintaining it and showing that we're still the number 2 company in the world. So
right.
I got to tell you what impressed me the most is not just the card itself. We already know the talent is there. That we know that they put on great shows at AE. Oops,
Oh boy,
TNA. I almost said it. Ooh,
what?
Boy, what a Freudian slip that was. Anyways, what impresses me most though, Daniel, and is there a change in the way it is shot? Because the way the presentation comes across on my television screen is really, really good.
Before you say anything, Daniel, I don't know. There has to be cameras, right? Y'all upgraded cameras. It's got to be.
No. There's been. there's been a lot of production changes to get it to have a better look and stuff over the last few months. A lot of conversations, a lot of what can we do, trial and errors, things like that. So yes, and I think they liked what they've done, and they just added more to that to make it another look. And I will say this: I'm not going to give away too much, but I will say this: be on the lookout for more and more changes to come.
Cool. Because people don't realize that the presentation is a huge part of it. Because if you don't look big time, then people don't feel you are.
Now, I will say this. What are your guys' thoughts on this? And then we're going to move on to Refin review before we bring in our buddy Roger. I liked the long entrance that y'all had, Daniel, in a normal building, but I didn't like the way it looked, though. It was like it was missing. Y'all had that big board of looking at it on TV. You were there. So when you come out the entrance, it was on the right. They had a big screen.
Yeah.
But there was nothing to the right of it watching on TV. You know what I mean? Like, so it kind of looked empty there, but there were fans. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it was missing something to me. What did y'all think? Jimmy, what did you think? I loved it. Don't get me wrong. Cause it felt like a big stadium kind of entrance. Like I liked it. I just thought there was missing something light wise, or I don't know how to explain what I'm saying.
I don't
know what you mean at all. It wasn't missing anything to me.
Jimmy, you're good.
I didn't feel like it was missing anything. I like the idea of taking down the entranceway.
Yes,
so you can see the people around because it shows that the building is full and that sort of
yes,
thing.
I like that too.
I like that look, and perception is reality. When people see that, you know what I mean? They go, okay.
I don't know. Maybe another screen above the entrance or something. I don't know. It's just maybe it was me. I don't know.
Would have blocked seats though. Yeah.
Anyway,
but guys, got
to go for that record, bro.
Yeah, right.
Get that record.
I'm sure that one's gonna be broken soon too. But why don't we do this? Why don't we take a brief break? Come back in our Refin review before we bring in our very special guest, Mr. Roger Ruffen, right here on Ruffin' It Up.
Let's go.
This is Refin Review.
Welcome back to Refin' It Up right here in our Refin Review. Last week, Jimmy, we saw Jordynne Grace ref over there on NXT, the women's Survivor Series style match. Just your initial thoughts on her performance. She's a great performer in the ring. What did you notice as far as a referee for Jordynne?
You know what? I'm gonna wait. I want to pass this to someone else first and see what we get.
Okay.
Oh, is this someone else? Me?
I don't know. You tell me.
Take it, Daniel. Come on.
I'm gonna say this, Jordynne. I love you. We were chatting all the way up to this. We were having conversations. You're one of my favorite people I've ever worked with. You're one of the best in the ring as a wrestler, female wrestler. Knockouts division. You carried that flag. You were in the Royal Rumble. You've done some amazing things, Jordynne. And I love the fact that you made it to you got this contract. You're in NXT. You're doing all this stuff. I love it. You're one of my favorite people. But as a ref, you absolutely sucked.
Wow. I wasn't going to go that deep, but
look. Yeah. If I had a match, he would probably say the same about a wrestler. So it's okay. Look, and Jordynne's knows it's just there could have been a lot more to it, and maybe if they would allow me to work with her, I could have helped her out. But I don't know who worked with. I don't know if any of the boys in NXT work with her or what happened to do these spots. But granted, it's a lot to do a 3-segment match, 100%. So I'll give her a benefit of the doubt there. 3-segment match as a new position you've never done is one thing. Getting time cues, all that stuff, I get it. Shoulders, darling, shoulders. Got to count the shoulders.
Yes.
And
gotta get there.
Got to get there. And look, I'm just glad that you're the phenomenal and again, I know that's word on somebody else. I'm just glad you're one of the most amazing wrestlers that you are, and keep that up. And we ain't gonna talk about Joe Hendry because he also didn't do well either. So
So let me just say this, Jimmy, since you
Yeah.
asked.
Go ahead.
She looked. Now I'm sure we will get into this with Roger.
by the way, her gear looked amazing.
Okay, good Lord, it did. It did. So I guess that made it didn't matter.
That made it that right there
Helped out.
helped out her gear.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just say this, and again, I'm sure we'll talk about this or touch on this when we get Roger in here. But she looked like every typical wrestler that tries to go from that transition. She looked lost. She looked like she didn't know what she was doing. She tried. I like the effort. I have seen some good performances by wrestlers that have done guest refereeing, but she was like the typical ones that do, and she just looked out of sorts. And it's okay. I mean, and I'm sure that they know this when they put these people in those spots. I think, but Daniel said it best, but I'm not saying it like that. So Jordan, I love you more than him. Obviously,
She can still kick my ass, so I
Yes,
got to be
that-
careful.
Well, why
You
the
know,
hell you
but
think I'm not
doesn't
saying
matter.
that shit?
Right.
Doesn't
That's
matter
the whole
how-
point. But I
That's
love
why
her,
he's in
so
the
I can
gym.
say it. Yeah.
But you
why
were
he's
better
in
than Jordan. You were better than Joe Hendry because he was awful.
You
I
were
love
better
him.
than Joe Hendry.
Yes, I love him too. But
No.
as a referee, you
No
might
offense,
want to
Joe.
take negative
No
ones to
offense
that.
to Joe, but with all due respect, he looked like he didn't want to be there.
He
Refereeing.
did.
He looked like he wanted to be in the match.
He did. You're right.
If that makes sense. And you're right, Brian. That's the point I was going to bring up. I was going to say that it's more often than not, anytime you get a special guest referee and it's one of the boys or the girls, um, we can be very critical of their performance. You have had a few in the past that are pretty good, but last week, the other thing too that bothered me about it was how did they help? Did they help advance any of the story going forward?
Nothing. There
By
was
having
nothing
them
there. There was nothing there. You're right.
It didn't really mean anything other than, okay, we're going to put someone from NXT as a special guest referee, and we're going to put someone from TNA as a special referee, and that was it. Didn't have any consequences. Didn't add to the story.
Yeah. The something I did want to get your thoughts on, you brought it to light with us, Jimmy, was the match from Collision with our favorite referee. The match between Josh Alexander and Kota Ibushi. Uh, I'll tee it up for you, Jimmy. Just go ahead and talk about what you saw from this match.
Okay, they were having a pretty good match. Josh Alexander versus Kota Ibushi. Now, Josh was on the top rope and he was trying to get Kota Ibushi up on his shoulders. And it was just whether it was a miscommunication, mistimed, something went wrong, and they both fell off the top rope to the floor. Now, Kota Ibushi apparently broke his leg. I think they said did they say his femur or something?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, something requiring surgery. He got hurt right away. Props to Bryce. He went out and checked on him like he's supposed to do, and he called over Doc Sampson, and Doc Sampson came over. I don't have a problem with that. This isn't about the refereeing. The problem I have is here's a guy who's down. He's obviously hurt and cannot continue. There's no reason for him to go into the ring. Whoever made the call, whether it was from Gorilla and his earpiece going in, get back in the ring and count him out. There's no point for a count out. There's no issue there. We all know now he's injured and he needed required surgery. You could have just said, end the match here. He got hurt. That's it. And to make it even worse, after the count out, here comes Mark Davis. He starts throwing punches at Ibushi. The guy's hurt. When someone is injured outside and you call the match, he's off limits. You do not touch him. That's it. Period. No questions asked. I don't know who told him to do it. I don't know if he went into business for himself. Whoever made that call, you're an idiot. Bottom line.
And he broke his femur, by the way.
Femur. Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm gonna throw OVW in the bus, even though I work there, and one of the things that drove me crazy is we had something similar happen. Not a broken, but somebody did something or whatever, and they're still trying to finish this match and just cover him or what. And I'm like, just in the match. Like, who cares? Like, just in the match. It didn't need to be so old school. And Al was very, very old school, where he's like, "Oh, we got to finish. We'll call on the fly and finish it, and deal with it later." There's nothing wrong with just finishing a match. Somebody got hurt and just ending it and calling it off. And as someone who's been in the ring when that's happened twice, a year ago, the most famous one a year ago with Chris Bay, it just you just end the match. Just end it and let it be. There's no reason to keep it going. So, but anyways, that's my shout out. But shout out to Bryce for checking on him and doing the right thing and making sure the communication was there. So that way he tried not to finish the match and someone else made the call. So,
and in that case, he's just doing what he's being told. I mean,
100%, which I think a lot of times is what he's doing anyways, with being told.
Daniel's been on fire tonight.
I'm being serious. Like, I think that's what's happening a lot of times.
No, it's not just him.
Yeah.
Who do we talk about a lot? We talk about Paul Turner being one of the best referees out there, and he gets hamstrung because he's told to do things that make him look not so good.
Right.
Anyway.
So, guys, why don't we do this? Let's take a break. I'm going to go into our green room, see if our intern's taking care of our guests this week. There's new interns.
I didn't make ref and review. I thought I was going to make ref and review this week, so thank goodness.
Well, you were, but we're on time restraints, and you said you love it, so sorry we cut that part out.
But why don't we do this? We'll take
going to let you put yourself over there.
Actually, you and your crew had a great night. You did. You and your crew had a great night. I did. I really believe that with all my heart. I'm not just saying that to just suck up, because I was looking for some shit too, boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, let's
get to that.
I know that Roger's a grizzled vet, so I want to. What we put back there? Some deer meat or some shit?
We got some venison. We got some elk. We actually sprung. We had our intern drive down to Baltimore to get some surf and turf. He's got some bison in there. We'll see how much he likes it, but we'll do that in our second count right here on Ruffen It Up.
Get him some forks.
This is your 2 count.
Welcome back to Ruffen It Up, and we are in our second count, and we are so ecstatic to bring in. Not only do you get to hear 3 referees, but now you'll get to hear 4. So this is a reffing table that you're getting right here, and I want to bring in Roger Ruffen. And Roger, first of all, I just want to say, I know you're old school, brother. How early did you used to get to the fucking airports?
Well, I did most of my travel. I did most of my traveling in a car, but I got there probably before there's a single soul in the building.
I totally believe that, because that's exactly how my dad is, and that's why he was a murder to travel with. What is it with you older guys that just like to be somewhere so early? Like, you checked in our show at like 6 o'clock. I told you 6:30.
It's just that you got to leave time in case there's anything that screws up. Because I always call it the Roger factor. If it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong with me. So I always make sure that I am there early in case I break down, in case the computer doesn't work. Who knows what's going to happen?
All right. Well, you made it. How was the green room? Don't lie.
Well, the food was kind of cold.
Oh, RJ, you're fired. You're fired.
All right, come here. You're getting out of here. Come on.
Sorry, Roger.
But on a good note, the beverages were cold too.
Okay, that's
good. Okay.
Oh, you mean the good beverages?
I'll take that.
The good beverages were cold.
Yes.
Oh, okay. RJ, you're good right now.
Okay. All right. So no. Okay.
Still safe.
Fire
Still
intern.
safe, kid.
Okay.
Just make sure they're cold.
Just like you said, I'm a veteran, so I'm a beer drinker. So I like that cold beer.
That's awesome. All right, I have a quick question again, just before we get out of the gate, and I'm gonna swing it to whoever wants to go. I remember you. You may not know that, but I remember you. I don't believe that we like you remember meeting me, but I remember going to a show where you were there with my dad and my uncle. Or not, I don't know. No. My uncle. Did you never? All right. First of all, did you work with my dad?
I worked with both Dave and Earl.
You did together?
Yes.
Okay. So I am right.
Yeah. When I first started, Dave was refereeing. Was already there refereeing, and that was before he became an agent. So I was there actually a little bit before Earl was.
Okay. Perfect. So I did meet you. It wasn't nothing you should remember or me. I just remember because I was a kid. Remember your face and all that stuff. And remember my dad introducing me to you. Um, so with that being said, you're a referee at that point. Did you train as a referee?
No, I actually trained as a wrestler. I started wrestling first, but the refereeing came real quickly after. They saw how terrible I was
At
as a
wrestling.
wrestler.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
of course, just like everybody else growing up, I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to be a wrestler, but the opportunity arose, and I took that opportunity, and that's what definitely worked out for me the best.
So Roger,
But I still continued to wrestle for several years.
Roger, I wanted to be a wrestler too, big time. But when my dad started to train me on ref bumps in a ring, that's when I decided, oh hell no, I am not going to be a wrestler. That's why I said I'm going to take the best bumps in the world because I only have to take one of them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'll leave that daily bump to bump thing with those boys. But I get what you're saying because we're wrestling fans. I guarantee you, Daniel, I guarantee you, Jimmy, all wanted to be a wrestler at some point. If they say they didn't, that's bullshit. At some point,
Okay, call me out then.
you never wanted to be a wrestler.
It crossed my mind, but it wasn't one of those things where I wanted to be a wrestler.
So it crossed your mind.
It did cross my mind.
All right.
But
How
when I
about you,
saw-
Daniel?
But when I saw it up
Oh, yeah,
close,
of
I
course.
said, "Nah, not for
I
me."
mean, I had a wrestling name and everything picked out.
Oh, I had
Finishing
my
move,
promo music. I had my promo music
I
and
had my
everything.
music. I had my music
Oh.
as well. I had everything
yeah.
ready to go.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm not weird. All right. Cool.
No. I mean, you're
Well, I
weird,
really,
but
I
you're
just
I
not.
am.
all I wanted to do was wrestle, and I took a couple of those indie payoffs, and then I did my first referee gig, and the federation paid me. I said, "Oh, I want to be a referee."
That's awesome.
That such a huge difference being with number one than being with indies. It was. I'm a referee, is what I am.
What year was that, Roger? What year was that when you first started refereeing in WWF at the time?
My very first match that I ever refereed for and I call them the Federation. I'm sorry,
That's all right.
I've always called them the Federation. My very first refereeing gig for them was in December of 1983. So that
Wow.
was at the beginning of the whole expansion starting right then. So I was right there to hopefully ride that wave.
Wow.
How
Do you
did you
remember who
get
that
there?
was? No, wait, do you remember who that was? The first match?
I can remember some of the guys on the card. I don't.
Mm.
Backlund. I remember Backlund was there, and George Steele was there, and I think Jay Strongbow was still wrestling. Uh, but it was in Cincinnati, in my hometown. I actually started off as a commission referee. At that time, City of Cincinnati had a wrestling commission, and when the promotions came in, they had to use the local referees, at least one of them. And at that time, the commission didn't have a referee, and I had already been working for the commission, doing ring attendant and different things like that. So I became a commission referee, and that's how I actually got that gig. And a couple of the agents saw me and liked me, and they started inviting me to some of the other towns that were close by.
Cool.
So were you more in the WWE considered a part-time ref more than a full-time?
I would more or less call it part-time but regional. I did Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, West Virginia, Kentucky. I did that kind of that Midwest area. So
So
there
you,
would be months where I'd get 20 dates, and there'd be months where I'd get 5 dates.
got you.
So it just varied, because back then they were running three towns a night.
Right.
It was hopping. So I was able to get quite a bit of work.
So how did you transition from being a wrestler to working as a referee to back or to into WWE? Like, in other words, did you come off the indies and then get a hired spot and it just lucked out for you and then they continue to use you? How did that work?
Yeah, it was just being in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
And I thought I knew wrestling because of the wrestling training and being a wrestler, but I learned the wrestling business and actually learned what was going on in the ring by refereeing. I mean, because the agents at that time were just geniuses. If you think about it, back then the agents were, Pat Patterson and Strongbow and Rene Goulet and all those guys. Those guys were geniuses. And back then, when you came back through the curtain, whether you were a wrestler or a referee, they were right on you, telling you good this, bad that, and it was such a great learning experience. Because those guys were wrestling, years
Mhm.
before that, they were a wrestler.
I agree.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And
Go
we
ahead, Jimmy.
both were honored to work with those agents. I mean, uh, people, and you mentioned something that's very interesting. You said you thought you knew wrestling until you started refereeing, and I don't think that many people understand what you mean by that. I mean, we get it, but I think people listening don't understand that. You want to expound on that a little bit?
well, for you're concentrating on what you're doing. You're trying
Mhm.
to make sure that you're in the right place at the right time and doing everything correctly. And you got to worry about what is that guy doing? What's the heel thinking? What's the baby face thinking? Uh, Watching how they go to the crowd or how they sell this move or how they sell that move, and where you got to be in that whole mix of things. So you're not just learning, what you're doing. You're learning what they're doing. You're learning how they're working the crowd and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was such a learning experience. I mean, I can't express how lucky I was to be under the tutelage of some of those agents because they were, I haven't been around the agents of today, so I really can't say what they're doing and how they're teaching and stuff like that. But those guys were teachers. They were
Mhm.
really teachers, and I was very lucky.
So let me ask you this: do you watch wrestling now?
Not really. I watch a little bit. I watch enough to know what's going on.
Mhm.
I don't watch it religiously. I watch SmackDown some on Fridays, and one of my friends, Biss, when he'll call me and say, "Hey, you got to watch this coming up this weekend. It's going to be really good. I'll watch."
Mhm.
Uh, but I don't watch too much, and I'll be honest, I can't watch Wednesday nights. I just can't watch it.
Okay.
So maybe once. This is Roger Ruffin's heel spot right here. When I'll watch Wednesday nights once in a while, and about 15, 20 minutes into it, I'll tell my wife, turn it off, turn it off. I can't take it.
And she's probably screaming, never turn it on, never turn it on, never turn it on.
Right. Right.
I don't want you to get attacked here, but what is it about Wednesday nights that makes you want to turn it off? Because um, there are those out there that will claim that everything they do is fantastic and wonderful, and there's nothing wrong here. And then you hear a lot of veterans say similar things to what you're saying, and try to offer constructive criticism, and they're viewed as, oh, he's just an old fart screaming at clouds, get off my lawn, he's bitter and old and stuff like that. What is it that you see that makes you want to just say, okay, I can't watch this anymore?
Well, first off, I have turned into that. When I was younger. When I was younger, and I listened to the old veterans crab and bitch, and I should say, why is he acting like that? Why is he so bitter? Now I'm that guy now.
You
But
understand?
anyway, the Wednesday shows. I mean, they got talent. It's not a knock on the talent. They definitely got talent, but it's so obvious that the guidance is not there. I don't know, and I'm not there, so I don't know if it's like a free for all, they're doing whatever they want to do, or if they're getting bad instructions. And the referees there, like you guys, I heard you guys talking earlier. Sometimes they come across as they're not doing a very good job, but we don't know. Maybe they're doing exactly what they're told to do. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say about that, but I think it's just totally the guidance of the show. They really struggle building people the proper way. Uh, Everything's gas pedal to the floor. It's just not my style.
So
I
while
just
you go ahead. Sorry, go.
I just grew up, like I said, watching those guys orchestrate the event and watching those matches, how the matches were built, and how the first match laid the foundation, and the second match was better, and the third match was better, and then by the time we were at the end of the show, that was the main event. The main event wasn't, in the first match.
Right. I get that. I really do. So while you were eating our cold food that we supplied you and your cold beer, or no, you said cold beer, right?
Cold beer.
Okay. All right. So everything was cold. Sorry. But you had mentioned that you watch a little bit. Have you noticed anything different, or would you want to critique anything different from refereeing today's now as opposed to before? Is there anything that you notice?
Well, I don't think the refereeing is extremely different. I think I think we're so worried about TV ratings, which is the name of the game. TV's the name of the game. You can't deny that. But I think a lot of what I see is it's just so much. It's just at times it's just too much. They don't give you a chance to swallow and digest what you just saw, and the next thing you know is wham, bam, boom, all this chaos. And chaos is good. Chaos is great if it's done in the right spot and the right time, and definitely for the right reason. And I think a lot of times, and WWE is they're guilty of it occasionally, but it's so much a better format than Wednesday nights. I think we we break too much furniture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We break too much furniture. I mean, if they would do that less, it would mean more when they did do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you also got to accept what is what is, and what that's not going to change. Um, you have to be able to adapt to what they're doing, and be able to understand. So much of wrestling is emotion, and if you look back a year or so ago when they did the bloodline angle,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still old school. I use the word angle. I don't use storyline. But when they were doing all the bloodline stuff, there was so much emotion in that. They didn't even have to wrestle. They didn't even have to do all this crazy stuff, because they did so much emotion. And I wish the wrestling would have a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Did you get a chance to watch the Hardys versus Dudleys?
No, but I heard you guys talking about it, and I'm a big Dudley fan, so I think I'm gonna have to check that out.
I think you need to, because I think you're going to be hella impressed. And I think you're going to really love the whole entire match from the beginning to the back. And you could tell that they were telling a story from the beginning. There's a middle chapter and then there's a final chapter. And it's exactly what you're saying. The way this match was layered out, it was, to me, this is me personally. You may not feel it after you watch it, but I can just tell you right now, I don't know too many people that I've talked to that don't feel the same way. You need to go check that out. And you need to text me and let me know when you do, and let me know what you thought of it.
I will definitely check that out. It's great to see. It is really great to see TNA. Um, I don't want to necessarily say making a comeback, but getting the recognition that they deserve.
Oh, it's definitely a comeback. It's definitely a comeback.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see that. It's really great to see that, because I don't think they got enough recognition. Back in the early 2000s that they deserved, and it's good to see that they're definitely getting the recognition that is deserved. Everybody thought when our good friend Scott D'Amore left, what a great guy Scott D'Amore is. But when he left, they kind of thought that the ship might be sinking, but not the case at all. It's sailing pretty strong. And like Daniel said earlier, the number two promotion, if they're not yet, they're going to be.
Sure. So one of the things I have to bring this up is, you have a school and you've trained a lot of talent from, Abyss and our good brother Karl Anderson and a few others. But I have somebody that I question of why you decided to train this person, and maybe he claims you, but do you claim him?
Jesus,
And,
Daniel, you are on fire tonight.
I know. And that is the Netflix wrestler's own Aaron Greider. So what happened with this one? Did this one just fall through the cracks? Is this he get hit on the head too many times in training? What happened with this guy? I'm so confused.
So one of the first times that he trained, They we had always have them run around the block. They our locations in the neighborhood so they can run around the block.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron goes to run around the block with the rest of the trainees, and they all come running back, and they said, "We need to call an ambulance. Aaron passed out around the corner." I
Oh
go
my
running
gosh.
down there, and he's sprawled out on the concrete sidewalk. I think I'm having a heart attack. I think I'm having a heart attack. God love Aaron Grinder. I know these
Yeah.
other guys probably don't know him, but he is a real pistol boy.
Yeah. No, Aaron's a really good friend of mine. It's a joke, guys, but I had to rib him, and although he's doing well in his position, he's moved a little further north in Indiana. So, but about
He
every
was a
few
good
months,
referee. He
he
was a
was
real
he's a
good
decent.
referee.
There was a lot that I tried to help him take it to another level, but he's very stuck in his ways, and he's only. And I'm gonna say this in a nice way. You're only as athletic as you can be, right? So there you go.
Well, my
But
God,
hey,
Daniel,
look,
could he
look.
do a 30-minute match if he can't run around the block?
I don't think you could. I don't know, but I will say this: he had a some great stuff at OVW when he was there. He actually did great in the behind the scenes stuff when he was injured, broke his hand, so he took a role backstage time in the show, and then he ended up refereeing from time to time, and then ended up getting a great storyline with Freya the Slayer, which you saw on Wrestlers on you saw a little bit of that, and they ended up having a match too as well. So a couple matches I think in other federations is too, but anyways, a shout out to Aaron. I knew that he's going to listen to this, and I'm gonna give him his props because I do miss that goofball from time to time. But
He's a class guy. He's a good
he
guy.
is a class guy. The funny thing is what you saw on Wrestlers Netflix of him acting, or what you saw in the storyline of Freya the Slay of him trying to like date her. That is really truly who he is. It was not acting. That was he's awkward and goofy, and but also like you love him. So it's just one of those things.
Hmm.
So,
So
you're,
we
you're trying
talked
to say he's
about.
very athletic, so his favorite move is grab a hold.
yeah, he's there's.
Okay.
I don't think athletic is the word. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think that's the
Okay.
word. That
Just
Hmm.
yeah.
His favorite saying was, "Let's go to the concession stand."
Yes.
that that works too. But we talked about going from training to be a wrestler, then you're being a referee. Now you're training yourself. Daniel mentioned Abyss and Karl Anderson. Another guy that's there at we've had on here is Chris Harris, and you talk about a guy that really deserves to get those flowers for that time in TNA. But the transition going to training now, how was it an easy transition? Was it okay? Was it have bumps in the road?
Well, when I first started training guys, it actually was originally Les Thatcher's wrestling school that he had a partner with. And Les is one of the greatest trainers of all time. But Les had decided he was going to move on and do some other stuff. And at that time, here in Cincinnati, there wasn't really no one to take his place. So they had contacted me to do that. And it actually, I started teaching wrestlers, but I was teaching myself at the same time. It was a learning experience. I was learning right along with them, and I was very fortunate to have guys like Abyss and Chris Harris. They were some of my early students, uh, and they were natural athletes. It's always easy. Obviously, it's always easier to teach natural athletes than it is to teach someone that struggles. But it was quite a change of pace. I knew the basics really well, but like I said, I was teaching myself right along as I was teaching them.
Last question I want to
Well,
ask you.
yeah.
All right, you trained a dear friend of mine, and you've mentioned him several times. Chris Abyss. Was he paranoid when you trained him to that day too?
I can promise. There's two things I can promise.
And I don't. Here's the thing, though, Roger. Why was he so paranoid? He was so athletic and so good. I never got that about him. It was just something that I embraced. He loved coming to me talking about, well, how was my match? How's my match? And I would say something like just small and negative. He go, yeah, it sucked, right? It was just horrible. I'm like, Chris, I just told you the whole match was great. I would have changed this one spot. And he was so like, I don't know. He was such a great guy, such a big heart.
You saw a little bit of that in Unreal as well, with him being a
Yes.
producer, with worried about the time and apologizing
Yeah.
to Bruce, and
I can promise you what you saw, Brian, I saw way worse.
Really? And you're
I
talking about through the
saw
training
way
days.
worse.
Through the training
Yeah,
days.
he was very insecure. But they say he's he's my son's godfather. I love him to death. If he's not my best friend, he's tied to being my best friend. So
Oh,
he is a brilliant mind, and he's right where he needs to be. Uh, he he used to call me when his early days after he left our training facility and started branching out. He used to call me and ask me for advice. Now I call him and ask him for advice.
yeah.
He's one of the best minds in the wrestling business, bar none. And
I agree.
you got to see what a talent he was. And I love to refer back to when he started doing the Joseph Park stuff.
Yep.
He was so talented doing that. He was so good at it that so many of the fans weren't 100% sure that was him.
Correct.
He was that good at it. He would walk down to the ring and, after wrestling for 15, 20 years, he would act like he didn't know how to get in the ring. And he was so believable.
He was.
I mean, he was so believable. What a talent. But yeah, I mean, he's still, I'm sure he still questions whether what he's doing is good or not. But he's awesome, man. Awesome.
Well, Roger, I actually worked with him too when he was an agent at TNA. And that's when I realized, wow, this guy is magical. And you know what? I wouldn't be afraid to say that he might be, like you said, one of the smartest people in the business right now as far as being an agent or producer. I'm serious when I say that.
Yeah. And then, I know he's very, very well respected in the WWE. And
he should be. He
should be. And I'm sure, and I know he is for a fact. And I'm sure, if anything, he's gonna even climb up the ladder even further than he's gonna be one of the main guys there.
Absolutely. Well, look, buddy, I almost want to call you Natasha just because your wife hasn't changed your screen. But I know your name, thank God. Roger, this has been amazing. I wish we could keep you longer. But I want you to put out all your plugs. Anything you got out there you want to put out there, your socials, anything you got coming up. We're going to lay out, and the floor is yours, my man.
You can check me out on Facebook, Roger Ruffen. You can check me out on X, Roger Ruffen, or you can check out the Northern Wrestling Federation on all apps and find out about our school and find out about our wrestling shows that we do. That's the easiest way to check it out. And I want to say one last thing before we go. I just said to check me out on X. My favorite person to follow on X is Jimmy.
That's everybody's favorite.
Jimmy is the best. Jimmy, don't take no shit from him. Keep firing right back at him. I love it.
Okay, you know what? Now that you said it, because I've been kind of laying back a little bit for about a week or so.
Oh, Jimmy, please stay that way, please.
Nope. I'm inspired now.
Oh,
as a
God.
matter of fact, as we speak, just before we clicked on here, someone came up with a nice comment that I'm going to have to reply to very soon. So
I love it. I'll check one of his comments out, and then I'll say, "Oh boy, I better get in the rabbit hole on this one and investigate this." It's great. I love it, Jimmy.
Thank you, man.
Roger, before we let you go, I just want to know, I am not a fan of it. I love them. I don't mind them. How have you not burned that fucking sweatshirt you got on right now?
Oh,
dude.
By the way, before he says anything, people, listeners, he has a Cincinnati God bless them Bengals shirt on. Go ahead, Roger. How have you not burned it?
Dude, I don't know. I keep holding on. the Cincinnati sports fan have been abused, whether it's baseball or whether it's football. We've been abused for so long. We've had Joe Burrow and we had this glimmer of hope, and it's nothing but pure pouring down rain right now.
Well,
You should have picked up Daniel Jones.
The guy you have now is the guy that we had for a hot minute. I don't know what happened and why y'all decided to get him from the Browns, but I'm a Colts fan, by the way. You know, I feel sorry for you. I was a big Flacco fan when he was with the Ravens, but that was years ago. So
Many
years ago.
Win, lose, or draw, I'll be there every game watching it.
that a
And
boy.
There you go.
I'll probably walk away pissed off every time.
Could be worse. You could be in Nashville, but anyway.
Yep.
Hey, Roger, thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate you taking your time out for us, man. And we were really looking forward to this, and you didn't let us down, bud.
Thank you. God bless you. And all the Hebners are number one with me, man.
Thank you so much, man.